Now it's 10 years anniversary for me being raw vegan.
For so long, I also had like gut issues, and I was forced to pay attention to got to the point where I'm now.
Even us here in Bali right now, there's not many people who are raw vegan on this lifestyle.
And also there are so many differences. I mean, we had so many arguments also like about the lifestyle.
So it creates
probably as well.
not just eating healthy, but living healthy and being active.
How does it work for you guys being on this path with your families? Hey guys, welcome to this new episode of The Light Leaders. Today I'm with Laetitia, who's back to the show, and her partner, Ali. And so it's a very spontaneous raw vegan discussion. It's what I wanted also for this podcast is here in Bali, we have a vibrant community of raw vegans, and we have amazing conversations that we want to share also with the world. So we just start with, what did you have to eat this morning?
Oh, I had celery juice and coconut water so far, and a little bit of watermelon juice.
And for me, just coconut water so far. Because today is very hot and I feel best just with hydration so far.
Interesting. I want to open actually the conversation with you being a raw vegan couple.
Yes.
And
We actually
impact the relationship.
we actually just met here in Bali.
Yeah.
We've known each other on Instagram for quite a while.
Okay.
And as you know, the communities, there's not that many people who are on this lifestyle. So it's great to come to Bali because it's sort of a place where we all can connect.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, if you're looking for a partner, where you're most likely to find them if you're a raw vegan.
Yeah, I remember interviewing Nova Moreno. She lives in Gold Coast in Australia, and she was saying it's quite a small pond.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
I think you the percent is that you find the right partner is maybe, I don't know, 20%. But when you look for a raw vegan partner, it's 0.001.
And it depends what type of raw vegan they are.
Yeah.
Because there's many
True.
types.
And we'll talk about that. But then sometimes, in business, they say it's easier if you have a niche. Maybe it's the same with relationship also, because then you're like, okay, well, I want a raw vegan, so then I have these people to choose from, so you kind of know where to look.
Exactly. And for me, with the raw vegan, there's two avenues. There's people who are more aligned with forest fruits, and there's people that's more aligned with gourmet. So for me, it's I want to be in nature, near the waterfalls, in the sun. I'm more aligned to eating tropical fruits versus necessarily making food art.
Yeah.
Which is I'm not against it, but I would say sometimes it can be a distraction because you could be monomealing exotic fruit, or you could be playing with vegetables that are not necessarily for human consumption. So you're processing them.
Yeah.
So I spend more time with people who like to be at the waterfalls than people who want to go to a raw vegan restaurant.
And I feel that's almost a little gender thing also, where I feel in the raw vegan, there's more the men sometimes that go to the very bare, simple fruitarian lifestyle, and I'll live naked in the forest and climb on trees.
That's correct.
And all this. Women in general might be a little bit more
Food
food artist and gourmet, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a raw vegan, but I'm going to make this recipe.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I just think you should have some guidelines because it's easy to go off track. As long as you stick to whole, fresh foods that you'd naturally eat in nature, you can make whatever you like. And a classic example is making, for example, cucumber noodles with a delicious mango dressing. That is still natural whole foods. But if you end up making, like, for example, I've seen some examples in the raw vegan restaurants here, like lasagna, that's heavy in cashew nuts and salt. That's not really
I'm also all in for like a low-fat diet.
Yeah.
But I think vegetables, leafy greens, and like wild foods are so important. And also seaweed. I think these are they have to be in a raw vegan diet. And I don't feel good if I only eat fruit a day. Like if I have like 100% fruit diet, I don't feel great. And if I have like spirulina in and like seaweed and dulse and all that stuff, I feel like nourished, and like I need spinach, I need like parsley, cilantro, like all that stuff.
And I do agree, because at the end of the day, the fruits we're accessing now are not necessarily, for example, I've traveled to Borneo. The fruit there really satisfies you on a nutrition level, but you might not get that when you come out to places where we don't really know what's happening in the soil.
Yeah.
Could be depleted soil or fruit supplies. Laetitia does make a good point.
So what did you have in the morning? Sorry, I didn't ask you.
This morning I had I made orange juice. Well, we started with I'm trying that Demeteus Earth, something like this. It's like marine phytoplankton but fossilized, and it's meant to be good for silica. I recently went to a workshop. There was the guy Gary from Human Garage
Yeah,
who
of
was
course
doing
I
a
know.
workshop, and I think I'll have him in the podcast soon. And I'm doing the reset at the moment, which is it's called fascial maneuver. So it's a bunch of exercises, and as part of it, he actually recommends that the meteorus Earth.
I met him in LA. So
Okay,
I was at a
okay,
workshop. Like
cool.
it was super nice. It's
Yeah.
like kind of movements where you can let go of trauma, basically.
Basically, I've had some pain in my neck, like nothing too bad, but like the tension that stays. And so I had after jujitsu, and so I stopped, and then doing headstand, and so I stopped, and never quite fully came back, even with a bit of fasting. So I'm trying different things. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try his protocol, and he talks very highly of it. So empty stomach, I had that. Then I had some lemon water. Then I had some orange juice, and then papaya,
Yeah.
then dragon fruit, and
I
then a
sometimes-
watermelon juice.
Oh, okay. Are you sometimes drinking celery juice? Like, because I think your partner is also a bit into medical medium, right?
Yeah. Interestingly, my partner really got me into medical medium. I was
That's so
actually
cool.
very similar to you guys. I was more like on the fruitarian
Yeah.
path and,
Same
almost dogma, and then she came with more the medical medium. Also, it's interesting to look at the results, because some of the people I find that have been doing fruitarian for a very long time, so I've had a lot of them on my podcast, like Anne Osborne for women, and Lauren Lockman, Doug Graham. A lot of them, like I really love them and respect them, and in some ways they're doing really well. When I look at Lauren's strengths at his age and Doug doing competition, like they're doing well, no problem. But the people that I find have the best results, as it looks like, actually I feel incorporating some juice and greens. So I've had Luca Rona on the podcast recently.
Yeah.
I think he's like top of the game in terms of longevity.
She's a big fan.
Yeah. I met him also in LA.
And then even
Wow.
Shane Sterling, he does a lot. He does a bit more fat. He does a lot of juices, and he looks amazing too. So it's an interesting comparison, the two styles also.
But that's a very good point. But I just wanted to make that in connection with that is we were speaking earlier about your environment that you live in. So the reason why we're here in Bali is because the diet and lifestyle is a function of the environment you're in.
Yeah.
And I've intentionally come to this geographic region of the world because it's a hub for healing and cleansing and being like, it's a spiritual awakening as well. And I feel as though it's just a magnet for light workers.
Yeah.
Right. which is what I find around here. Like I would say when we look at people's results, it's a function of their diet, lifestyle, and genetics, but in the environment they're in. So I think if you can stay here long term, it would be an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
Because not many, even the locals who live here, are not living a raw vegan lifestyle.
Oh, definitely not.
No, so we can't.
Rice Island.
Yeah. So here's an interesting point. You can be in the right environment, but if you defy the laws of nature, you still will suffer for it. So it doesn't mean we just live here and we can do what we want. We still have to follow the protocols of not just eating healthy, but living healthy and being active. So it's interesting. And now where the experiment is to see if you put all these things together, how well can a human do and function?
Yeah.
So I'd say it's an ongoing science experiment because not many people are raw vegan.
Yeah. And that's why I'm interested in people like Luca Rona, for example, what they'll be able to achieve is like today, there's a lot of talks about, it's such a better diet and all this, and it's interesting, but we need more results, right? When I look, I don't know, I like watching the UFC, the champions, they're not raw vegans.
Exactly.
In many sports, there are a few, like Djokovic, I think does a lot of raw and he's vegan,
Yes,
and so there are some, but most of the top athletes, for example, are definitely not raw vegan. So
And not many people that do it stay on the lifestyle. I've met many people who've done a U-turn and left. It's not many of us that can stand up and say, "Hey, I've done it. Here's the results. Look at me. I'm visible proof." And that's why I'm so passionate about this lifestyle, because I want to be able to show people this is how you live healthy. Something we mentioned earlier was I've suffered like an 8-year-long skin condition, and I didn't share too much. I did share about it online, but I didn't want to be too vocal because people associated my skin condition with the diet. And in my logic, why would you relate a fungal condition on my body to exotic fruits? You can't do that. You can't make that connection. So I'm now happy to say that I've passed that point. and I'm still living the same lifestyle and I haven't changed anything, I think the optimal diet is always the optimal diet.
Yeah.
And if you can't find that, we need some support from other raw elements that Earth can provide, whether it's seaweed or leafy greens. Bring them in. If we need more minerals, if we need to juice greens, let's do it. But still, we are still focused on the same thing: is that we originate from a tropical forest, and right now your home is located in a tropical forest. You're literally back in your origins.
But what I think it's super interesting also with Luke Corona, because Luke Corona, he's not eating much fruit. So I think like the lifestyle can really work in different ways. And what I also think it's super interesting about like the detoxification, because I think if you have a high fat diet, you are not really detoxing. And that's why people can look good, people can feel fine. But if they actually go on a juice cleanse, or if they actually do a medical medium cleanse, they suddenly maybe start to get symptoms, or like they don't feel fine.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think it's natural to be on a high fat diet.
Yeah, same with like raw gourmet food. Like it's too salty, it's too fatty.
And too many nuts. Nature, it's very difficult to break into a nut. We're not going to be, even if we did have access to it, no way would we be having it on a regular basis.
And yeah, we would snack maybe on 3.
A coconut's really hard to get into, and during a seasonal. So for me, it points to high water content, electric fruits should be not always the focus, but should be our attention should be there. And a clear example is like dragon fruits, rambutan, lychee, mango, papaya. There's a countless list.
Yeah, but you don't have access to these amazing fruits in Europe, or I don't know, like.
And to
sad part.
make an honest point, in Bali, you don't always necessarily have access to amazing fruit all the time. It's not always easily available. You have to put work in and know how to select where to buy. So even though we are in a geographic region where we are advantaged in terms of weather, because the majority here are eating rice, Bali's mainly, rice fields. Like, we have to be honest. There's not many exotic fruit trees around here. We're lucky we're opposite a jackfruit tree now, but that's the only thing you see around here. Many jackfruit trees and coconut palms. For me, there's a plethora of exotic fruits that's missing. Go to Hawaii, go to Costa Rica, go to Borneo, go check it out, and then you realize, wow, there's space there to grow.
I think a lot of people choose Bali because it's way cheaper than Hawaii or like any other island.
Yeah.
What about you? Why did you choose Bali?
So I used to live in Australia when I had my spiritual awakening, and then I left my job and I started doing coaching and really awakened to my light leader nature. And so humans, we like to be in tribes. We like to be with like-hearted people. And so I felt like going from France to Australia was already a step into being in a different environment. But then, when I felt more dedicated to the rising consciousness of the planet, as well as my own health and awakening, it was like, I want to be surrounded by my environment. I wanted my environment to reflect that. Exactly. And now I'm just back from 3 months in Europe, and it was nice, but I realized, it's so nice to feel like I feel more home here. So I started coming more and more from Australia, because it's actually just 6 hours direct flights from Sydney to Bali. Mama Bali just kept me more and more. And then just before the pandemic, I arrived in Bali, and then I was very happy to settle, because also Australia was going a little bit sideways with, the thing and regulations and lockdowns and all this. So I felt like staying in a place where people are a little bit more chilled, which Bali was. So then I made it my home. Right now, I'm very happy here. I was in Norway 2 months ago. I was there for 2 months. It was super nice to have super fresh air, quiet, hikes.
But what about
amazing.
Fruit?
So there's always a trade-off, right?
Exactly.
There's
a trade-off.
Yeah.
But in Bali as well, like here, like the traffic is horrible.
That's the thing.
The air is horrible here.
But sometimes when you drink a fresh coconut and you're in the sun, it triumphs everything. It's worth that. It's so important. Because for me, the essentials of life is light and water, hydration.
Yeah, I think the sun is also so important.
Yeah. And air, like for example, around here, it'd be good. It's just like, come to see you or you come to see me. It's a bit annoying.
That's correct too. Like for me, I'm from the city of London, so for me, it's not easy to compare Bali with the weather's completely different, the environment, the energy is completely different. Ever since I had my personal awakening, because now it's 10 years anniversary for me being raw vegan. Once your perception changes and you wake up things around you that you think, well, value have lost value, and the things that you want, for me, is high quality dragon fruits and being in the sun and meeting like-minded people and having a community. When that becomes of the essence, it's less about money and it's less about the material, and it's more about the connections and the energy and the environment you're in. It's what attracts you here, you know. And not many people are thinking like that, which shows itself, because I don't see many. Even when I come to Bali, there's many tourists, but light workers, you know, awakened beings. The community's still small, you know, still small.
Also about Bali, how do you feel about the mold?
Oh, it's so annoying for my clothes.
Oh, mold.
Mold.
Oh, like,
For my
Black
clothes,
mold.
it's
Like
the
tropical-
worst.
yeah, right.
So, yeah, I think like black mold is super toxic. Like to breathe it in, like that's
Where does it crop up? I'm not aware.
on the walls, on like in the shower. But basically, we have a quite new home. That's why we don't have the mold problem now. But I know like it comes like after like 1 year or something. I really have it like with my wardrobe, with my clothes, because I have a lot of clothes, and yeah, they just start to smell moldy if they hang there around, and and you have to wash them like constantly to like, that's really annoying.
I think we just have to accept that it's a tropical, humid environment where, you know, we're exposed to these things and it can easily grow. Just like my skin condition, it's the same thing. I think it just makes us have to be aware of, we have to make our environment, the way we construct it, to have like airflow. I don't know what's really contributing to the mold, but we have to be conscious of it. So for me, it's important to have, I think it's airflow in the house is the main thing.
Airflow, sunlight.
Yeah, sunlight. And just, for example, for me, I like minimal eco-living. And minimal eco-living tends to not involve that. Because if you've got air flowing, windows open, everything made from like bamboo, you wouldn't experience it much. And especially if you're wearing like conscious clothing and you don't have too much.
But I think bamboo is a bit of the problem with the geckos. I think you get a lot of geckos if you have like bamboo housing.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even here we have a deer cleaner coming every day because there's gecko poop on the floor.
Yeah. So I guess, I guess nowhere's a perfect paradise. You have to have trade-offs.
Yeah, of course.
But
I really miss walking. This is the really thing I like. Oh my God, I think I don't walk here. I'm just like sitting on a scooter.
But
you know, he's driving and I'm like just...
But I found the solution.
Let's have a quick break from the episode, as there is something I want to share with you. Thank you for still being here. It tells me you're someone who values a deep and insightful conversation. And that's my kind of people. In our world of ever-increasing distractions and clickbaits, it's important to share these long-form, deep conversations. And that's why I love podcasts. They've been a big part of my own spiritual awakening 8 years ago. And having my own podcast has expanded my life in so many ways. It allowed me to speak with my heroes and learn from them, to share my voice online and build a personal brand. And now I've become passionate about helping other conscious leaders also grow a high-impact podcast so we can flood the internet with insightful and meaningful content that helps us create that more conscious and beautiful world our hearts know is possible. If you feel the call to have your own podcast too, I can highly recommend it. And I'd love to help you. I created a community of impact-driven podcasters. And I also work one-on-one with leaders of the new earth to help them scale their impact with a podcast. Check out the links in the description if you want to learn more. And now, let's resume the episode.
the solution is to go to, on the east coast, all the way from Canggu to Kuta. It's a great stretch of it's like beaches. You can get your walk
yeah,
in there.
you can walk on the beach or like
Yeah, but then you have to drive there.
exactly.
Correct.
And you breathe in all the pollution.
Correct.
My solution is I play paddle. I get
Okay.
my 10,000
There you go.
steps
There you
this
go.
way, but I would love, like when I was in Norway, it was so nice to just go for a hike. Yeah.
Super nice.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, and even Laetitia recently visited one of the Gili Islands. And even
Gili,
there,
Yeah.
Gili, and for me, from the pictures, it looks picturesque.
Yeah.
But when she went and came back, it wasn't always positive reviews. So I guess even from my travels, I've learned that nowhere is a paradise. You know? It's paradise is a state of consciousness. So if you're internally in a state of euphoria, it could be mayhem around you and you still feel good.
Which is, okay, that's going to be interesting actually relating to the nutrition question, because what I feel sometimes when I interview raw vegan leaders is, and I won't say names, but is that there is so much focus on the food and a little bit of a lack of understanding ultimately where consciousness, where energy, and that we also have somehow some power around around the matter, the physical. And so where's the line between acknowledging that we live in a certain density where things are healthy for you and you want to play with those rules, and not feeling too bound by those rules and using the power of your consciousness to override that? So let's get more practical even with it. Let's say I'm in Europe and I want to eat clean. If I'm going to have to make so much effort for it, and I'm going to be worried about like the water is toxic and this and that, is it really a good idea to try and eat super clean, or is it a better idea to just relax and eat something maybe less clean, but just chill and have my consciousness and placebo work for me?
That's a good question. For me, it's really that I think it affects me mentally if I eat like cooked food, and I really don't like that feeling, and I want to try, like I want to stay away from that. So the only thing I eat occasionally is like potatoes, because I think potatoes are like still like, a little bit of like water content when you steam them, and like still like low fat. But I think it's just like, it's not worth it, because once you eat cooked food, it's like you're going back to cooked food again. And cooked food doesn't even taste good, only if you put salt in it. And I also I don't like salt because it makes you puffy. And it's just like, I think you really have to be on the lifestyle very long to really commit to it.
But then it's not just the cooked food, it's like also the water you drink, and you can go pretty far with it in a way that it becomes really hard to live what some people would call a normal life, or to travel, for example.
True. I think you always have to do the best you can with where you are and what you have, your finance and your emotional state. But one important lesson I've learned from London is where you put your attention is where your energy goes. So right now, as we sit here, if I really, really think about jackfruit, today I will find a really good jackfruit, because that's what my energy is. I could easily say, oh, it's okay, I'll just go to a raw vegan restaurant, it's easy, and I'll not go through that effort. But because I'm so passionate about living the lifestyle I want, I'll make the extended effort to be patient, to maybe even miss a meal, and to wait until I land the high quality fruit. And it's usually in our modern world, you have to go that distance to get to what you want. Because I always tell Laetitia, where is the high quality exotic fruits? I've seen, because I've been to Brazil, I've been to Borneo, I've been to Malaysia, Thailand. I've been around, I've seen a lot of things. And in London, we're fortunate to get imported mangoes from like Dominican Republic, or whether it's from Pakistan or India. I know the jungle can provide like really, really amazing biochemistry. Do we have access to it every day? Not, but I would never ever. For me, it's always about what bar have you raised yourself to? If you've raised yourself to really, really high quality fruits, it's hard to come back down. So I think it depends on where you are with your journey. I'm 10 years in. I'm very sensitive to what I eat. So if it's not rambutan or lychees, I'm not going to be happy about it. And I can't resort to that. So in those situations in London, my backup plan, my backup meal was always fresh pressed orange juice from Spain. I would never ever, that would always be accessible for me. And when it comes to water, you could get glass bottled Evian, there is ways of going around it. So it's really about really caring. And wanting it, you can make it happen. Yeah, it requires more time, more energy. I have done many long distance drives, but it's always worth it to me, because I'm like Laetitia, I'm sensitive psychologically. The mind-gut connection is real. If I'm not happy down here, this isn't going to be going so well. And if you're not happy up here, your life's not going to be great. So we need to be, if you want consciousness, you need fruits from the forest. And if you don't have it, I don't know. I can't function, at least.
I think, I agree. It's just, it really affects you. But I think also because we both suffered with health condition.
For so long.
For so long, I also had like gut issues, and I really I was forced to pay attention to got to the point where I'm now. And
you can't turn back. There's no U-turn.
And then you also you cannot really go back. I think when you only raw for maybe 1 year, and then you eat cooked food again, and you don't have really health symptoms, then you go back. But I think we both were forced to really stay on the lifestyle for so long.
10 years now, both of us.
Yeah, and then it's like really, you're like straight then.
And we even the other day were talking about, does it matter if you're 99% raw or 100%? And we both agreed 100% is really different to 99% because it's a slippery slope. And John Rose mentioned this, is once you slip, you can go down really fast, depending on how much you have self-discipline and control. Lauren Lockman spoke about this too. People who knows who've had 1 or 2 cooked meals ended up with the cooked food habit, going down that road. So it's a slippery slope. You know, you have to really know yourself. Is it just that meal, or is it going to become a habit? So I respect cooked food because humans had to do it when they left the equator. We needed to cook our food in those environments. We didn't have access to fruit every day. That's a special niche in the forest, which we're fortunate enough to be in now. So we need to be. I have sympathy and respect for anyone who has to eat cooked food, whether it's finance, stress, or just geographic location that's not so great, or situational inconvenience. You're on the highway traveling 4 hours and you haven't had your next meal and you need to eat because you live a daily life. There's a place for it, but do it with consciousness and self-control. I can tolerate that. But if it becomes a habit which becomes out of control and distracts you, that's not so great. So I think it's all about, are you consciously doing it and know where the goal is? Because for me, the goal is eating Muzong King Durian fresh from a tree, not eating potatoes. But if I had to eat the potatoes, I'm aware of where I should be. And it's just because I'm in the corner of England somewhere. I'm not in the Malaysian jungle, obviously.
I was in that very situation 3 months ago. So when I was in Norway, obviously a lot of fruit is just not available.
Or the quality is not so
the
great.
The quality is not so great. Like only the bananas are like.
And if it's not ripe, it's no good.
Yeah.
And what about vegetables?
Yeah, but it's also so very expensive. So it's going to bring
exactly.
the finances, like, because I didn't get a lot of calories. Also, if I just get orange juice that are like, you know, €5 a kilo, and I'm going to juice that.
That's what it's about. It's really the whole package of your emotional state, your geographic location, your stress levels, and money. Money is a real factor. Like, I'll give you an example here. Believe it or not, I'd like to make an announcement. A packet of grapes here, I've seen up to almost €20 in a supermarket for a box of grapes. And I'm shocked. It was like 370,000. And I'm thinking, that's not even a meal for a person.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know if they're going to be like sweet or not. Because, you know, fruit now is a mystery. You open a dragon, you don't know if it's going to be sweet or not. It's a lottery. So when it comes to calories, and if you have an active lifestyle, you have children, or you're doing strenuous activity, like for example, we're starting to do surfing, where's the calories coming from?
Yeah, like in Norway, for example, for €1 or €2, I could buy like a whole pack of lentils or buckwheat or a kilo of potato or something. So of course, it was quite different. And we were traveling with a blender that was really good. So I made a lot of blended banana with. We had some cacao powder.
Yes.
We had some. I even did like almonds blended in it, so something a bit like a buckwheat, even raw buckwheat. Yeah, that was nice, and a lot of frozen wild blueberries though.
Exactly. There's always. So if you can't reach the best, there's always strategies around it, whether it's having to make some cooked food or using dates as a backup plan.
Yeah, lots of dates also. Yeah.
And thanks to you, we found the wild blueberries here in Bali in one
Oh,
supermarket.
thank you.
At Delta,
wow, well done. Great.
The ones from France. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it is from France.
Yeah. But I think it's very interesting that I also know a lot of people who eat cooked food and they are super functional. And that's a mystery to me because I think, wow, they could be so much more functional if they would have like a raw diet.
Minus the detox phase.
Yeah.
They will go through a period where
definitely.
it's like a closet closed with a mess inside. Once you open that closet, there's some cleaning to do. So
yeah, definitely. And
Well,
then the symptoms come like.
But then we go back also to what I mentioned in the beginning. Like, yeah, people who eat cooked food function, but also, for example, physical performance. Most of the top athletes, they eat mainly cooked food. They're not raw vegan.
Correct. But we don't know what their potential could be if they were. Not even if they. This is the confusing thing. It's not about switching them from cooked to raw now. It's about what have they been doing long term consistently? Because if they were raw from child, I want to see that person when they're an adult. But if they just turn to raw, even for us, I'd always say give someone like at least 5-year phase to get to like.
Yeah, it'll be
No?
interesting. And there are some of the people I interviewed, they have children that have gone on that path. So Doug Graham, that was in
Yeah,
this
OG.
chair like 9 months ago. His daughter, I think, has done like fully raw her whole life. So
Wow.
it might be interesting to see how
I've-
she turns out. I think
yeah.
Josh X's son also, he's on a super pure diet from the beginning.
What I've seen is that even if it's not athletic, it's that the person's very peaceful. That's one thing that comes with this lifestyle. They're very like centered and peaceful, and they carry an aura and an energy that's like pure and clean. It's very special to find in a human.
And then there's that other question where I see also a lot of very spiritual being, very awakened. I eat meat, for example.
I think we
I
spoke
think
about
Muji,
this.
for example, I think it's chicken.
Yeah. I'm sure if you go to Yoga Barn here, I'm sure not everyone's a raw fruitarian. There must be many people eating.
Well,
so many different-
actually, that's something I find in Ubud. I see a lot of people who want to be raw from the mind intellectually and make sense. And after a year, they feel it doesn't work for them. And I've seen that a lot in this community.
But I find that interesting when someone says it doesn't work for me, because for me it's you're eating high quality, fresh, water rich, electric light food, and if you're eating good quality fruits and you're eating enough calories, minus the because I always assume it's detoxification, you know. But in my case, what Laetitia has taught me is that 8 years suffering is not detoxification. I think for the first 2 years you can experience detoxification, but you reach a point where, you know, you can. I always make the example: if I break my arm, it can heal itself in 6 months. Why does detox take so long? Why should it take so long? It shouldn't.
Yeah, maybe you can talk a bit about your skin condition.
About my skin condition. So 10 years ago I went raw vegan. On my first so basically this journey is like climbing a mountain. I wanted to go down the express route, so I decided to do a juice cleanse. Initiated by John Rose. I took my first solid food vacation for 105 days. And basically, on day 80, a rash started on my gut. And I associated that as a detoxification symptom because that's what we're taught. The body's healing and cleansing. Skin reactions may occur. And basically, ever since that point, no matter what I've done from that point on to now, 8 years later, nothing really helped me. No monomillion grapes or water fasting for a week or juicing also once for 231 days didn't help. Like the more pressure I put on my body didn't necessarily give me more outcomes. I tried bathing in a waterfall, going in the ocean, being in the sun, nothing helped. And when I met Laetitia 4 months ago was a turning point for me because she opened me up to the concept of viruses, bacteria, fungus, and that was initiated by her education with medical medium, Anthony Williams. It just opens a new door of saying, you're kind of sick and exposed to many things going into this lifestyle in 2025. Don't just think eating fruit and leaves is going to fix you. There might be other approaches you need to take if you're suffering. And she just raised the red flag. 8 years is way too long. We need to find out what this is. And she diagnosed it, what it was, and then found the
because I
solution.
also thought at first, it's eczema, but it really comes to have a diagnosis. What do you really have? And then you can work with it, and then you can see what steps do you need to do. Then,
It wasn't related to fasting.
Yeah.
And it's a really important point because a lot of people put a lot of pressure on themselves thinking.
I mean, how many days on juice did you did in total?
So one was 105, one was 54, and one was 231.
Imagine you juice for that time and you still suffer.
But also my lifestyle was like 70% of my day was on to give my body like absence of digestion. Because that's the logic. It's the less work you give your body to do, the more energy it has to do other things. I was assuming that this was just a chronic problem all over me, you know. And it just turns out that it was a topical problem.
Yeah.
And medical medium's not a fan of long fast, at least water fast
Yeah.
and
Correct.
juice. I would assume the same.
He's not a
hard
fan
on
of
the
water
adrenals.
fasting. And
Why
he's
is that, Laetitia?
saying,
What is the logic?
so he's basically saying symptoms come back after water fasting. And he's also saying that, you cannot really kill viruses and bacteria like with water fasting. So you can help the body to obviously clean. And he's saying 2 days are fine. I made different experience myself because I did also a lot of water fasting. And
We talked about it on the first podcast we had
Exactly.
together, by the way. If people want to watch the first podcast we did with Laetitia, that was awesome too.
Yeah, and for me, like water fasting helped me a lot with my condition, and also like regular fasting. But I agree with medical medium, with like he's saying do one water day in a month, or like I do like one water day a week, or like just like one juice day. I think, and if you do this like on a regular basis, you can really move forward quickly. You don't have to like starve yourself with 30 days
Yeah.
on water and then like,
It's like over ambitious, unrealistic goals in the modern world. You got things to do, you got places to be. Set yourself a small, realistic goal that doesn't put so much stress on your body, you know? Because we usually think more is better. And you find out that there's a tool called detoxification, and then it's water fasting related. You might just obsessively think about, I need to water fast, I need to water fast. And it's not necessarily a healthier mentality to have.
Yeah.
I prefer my lifestyle, consistency. Do what is realistic and consistent versus over ambitious goals, which, you know, when I look at people water fasting, you can't do anything. You know, you have to accept that you're taking time away from your life. If you're fortunate enough to do that, then great. If you're not, then take a more realistic approach to your health, which is for me, good environment, good air quality, good water supply, and like be consistent.
Yeah, and there's different approaches to water fast. The one I did, 12 days, I took the very low and Lockman type of approach, rest as much as possible. But I think the next one I'll try the other approach, which is keep living as is. And
Yeah,
and see how
that's
it works.
Letitia's approach.
yeah. I don't like to like rest during my water fast. I mean, like I like, of course, I rest a bit, but I still like want to experience something. Like I want to maybe sit in a bus and like look at the landscape or anything, or yeah, just like be present with myself, or like do a little bit of rebounding. And I'm a very big fan of like 7 to 10 day water fasting, like, and then 3 times a year, and not one long water fast where you rebuild yourself after. And also like it's so much better for your body to like, you don't have to rebuild yourself after 7 days on water.
True.
Before my 12 days, I did sometimes like a few times a 5-day water fast, and then on day four, I would be surfing and running. And,
Wow.
and going
Exactly,
for it.
because you get so much energy.
Did you watch? There's a YouTube channel called Fruitarian Paradise. They translated from Russian interviews with also. Like, now we go more to breatharian topic, but there was that
But he's also
Russian
like
that's
into dry
running like
fasting.
80 kilometer, and
Wow.
I believe him, but I think there's like we got to be realistic with where we're at in our own journey and with the collective consciousness we play with.
Correct.
But I was also influenced by this, being like, okay, why don't I my next water fast? I just use the power of my mind to go through it, and at the same time, might be even easier because then it's not so boring, which was the hardest
exactly.
part of my fast.
And the thing is, Ali also, like before he met me, he also tried water fasting.
Dude, I did like Lauren Lockman. I laid on the floor for like
Let's have a quick break from the episode, as there's something I want to share with you. Thank you for watching this far. I'm assuming you're enjoying this episode. So let's connect. I'm building this podcast not just as content, but as a community of light leaders on a mission. So drop a comment under the video. I read and reply to all of them. Pause the video now and share with us. What have you learned so far? Do you have questions or feedback? I also have a Telegram group to stay connected, whatever happens with YouTube and the algorithm. Come and say hi. I put the link in the description. Also, if you want to support this podcast and help it grow, there are a few things you can do. You can hit the like button. You can share this episode with your friends directly to help spread the message from human to human, regardless of the algorithm. Or you can take a screenshot and post it in your Instagram stories. And if you tag me at Alexi Lember, I'll repost it too. Also, subscribe to the channel. And more importantly, hit the notification bell, because if you just subscribe without the notification bell, you let the algorithm dictate whether or not you get shown my videos. So thanks again for supporting and joining the movement. Let's keep co-creating the new us together. And now, enjoy the rest of this episode.
Yeah, and it made his condition worse because basically it was nothing to like, yeah, it was
no.
from
The lesson learned is that water fasting might not necessarily address everything, and for my particular case, which is a fungal related problem, it wasn't internal; it was a topical problem. You can't. There is nothing like there's nothing the body can really do to get it off, because once it's on you and it's spreading, You know, how much?
And that's why we need antifungal foods in our diet. Garlic, onions.
So the detoxification tool is not always necessarily fast. It's introduced antiviral, antibacterial, elements. And this is from an awareness from medical media, and I think it's completely right.
And I also think a lot of people don't really know that they have viruses, and they don't really like.
Because you can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, you
can't smell
can.
it,
For
you
example,
can't-
when you have a cold sore, you have herpes virus in your body, or when you have like a wart on your finger or like on your body, then you have HPV virus. So, or you have like mononucleosis, then you have EBV virus. So the viruses are real, and
Just like mold in the house, you can't see it until it appears.
I mean, I agree with the natural hygienic people, like that in nature, like probably there are not any viruses, but I think they are like in a laboratory made or something, you know, like they escaped or like just like because they are like not natural, like a cold sore is not natural, like
being a raw vegan in 2025 is very different to natural hygiene is related to like our ancestral origins.
Yeah.
That's a different context. We are what Tony Wright is someone I look up.
Yeah.
He classes us.
Return to the Brain of Eden.
Yes, I interviewed Tony at my house in London. Yeah, I met Tony. He's a close friend of mine. Basically, Tony referenced people, us, we're all post-symbiotic refugees. We've all left the forest many years ago. We're not functional athletic avatars who are like perfectly clean and can just, take off. We're kind of like repairing a broken machine. So like spend some time in the garage fixing yourself before you want to run. And that involves with any tools you can. That is, whether it's supplements or
celery juice.
There's the logic
Things
for
like
all of it, right? Like either juicing to have more nutrients because
Yes.
the fruits are depleted. Even Lou Corona, he has the enzymes because he says, well, now the produce is lacking 30 to 80% of the enzymes. I know Freely, she says like there's much less sugar. That's why she takes tables of sugar, white sugar.
I think that's crazy. I think I would like.
But at the end of the day, look, you got two dragons in front of you. One is perfectly ripe, one isn't. The person who picks the dragon fruit that wasn't ripe would need to add sugar technically to it. But that's not the solution. The solution is learn how to choose ripe fruits.
I think the problem with sugar is that it changes your taste buds. And also with salt.
Yeah,
so
it's
I think it's
overstimulating.
very, very dangerous because then everything for you, like a normal banana does not taste sweet anymore when you really have a lot of sugar in your diet.
Yes.
So I think we should not like put processed sugar into our
I wanted to do a little conversation with Doug Graham and Freely actually, or like do this, but so far she's declined. But it'd be interesting because she's definitely been into a interesting topic there with this.
Yeah.
And then just one thing I wanted to mention about fasting was be very conscious of the environment you want to do it in. So for example, London, Norway, Germany back at home for Laetitia. When it's cold, it's very, very different energetic experience to when it's a sunny paradise. It's very easy for us to advise people to water fast. We're on the tropical coast. It's sunny. You can pass your days it's an enjoyable experience. When it's cold, for me, the body's in survival mode. Is you're looking for calories for metabolism to create heat. Heat is a byproduct of metabolism. So for me, it makes sense that you have more of an appetite in those environments. Fasting is mainly for, I don't know, it's like a summer experience for me. So if you are doing it during winter, you need to have like a strong will to do it because it's not going to be easy. And even Doug Graham even explained, we're tropical creatures. We heat our homes. Why do we heat our homes? Because we're in our baby suits. We're in our skin. We're supposed to be in a tropical forest. Yeah. So you really need to be conscious of that too. So going back to the diet and the calories, if it's cold and you can't find fruit, it is a bad time to water fast because when it comes to breaking your fast, I don't even know what you can have. So you need to put all these into perspective before anyone jumps into fasting. So even when Laetitia does one here, I always mention her, we need to make sure you have high quality ripe fruits when you break your fast. You can't what are you going to break your fast with?
And I think really like Ali inspired me to pay more attention about the quality on fruit because I'm from Germany. My expectations to fruit are like, oh my god, there's dragon fruit, like fresh dragon fruit. In Germany, like we cannot even like access red dragon fruit, and so for me, I was like super thankful and grateful for every fruit I got here. And Ali was like,
I've been spoiled by Borneo. I've had like organic, soil rich, biodynamic, exotic fruits from the forest. ancient forest. So for me, my expectations raised up because I know how good fruit can get. It can get so good that you really crave it again and again and again.
It is so different, man. When I have a super nice papaya and when I
Yes.
have one that's like, so it makes a huge
If I bought you a durian today from our house, it would blow your mind. Like it's like 10 out of 10 durians right now.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah, but I actually didn't even know we're coming here. This is spontaneous. I'm not even supposed to be here.
But yeah, would you add sugar to your papaya? I mean, if it's shit, would you like blend it and then?
I would add dates.
Yeah,
okay.
that's a good solution. Yeah, exactly. Dates. But Freely used to advise that. She used to be very focused on adding dates to her smoothies. You know, or doing a daterade. She used to do daterades. So I don't know if she's just trying to appeal to a wider audience by saying, yeah, you can add sugar because that's commercially available. Dates is a luxury, you know?
Yeah.
Not necessarily the most affordable thing to find.
But I do agree that it's not all about like the diet, because you can have the perfect diet and like still not heal, like it was in your case.
Correct. I was eating like
He
an
was like-
exotic fruitarian, straight grapes and watermelon, mangoes, nothing else, and still suffering. 8 years I've been living the exotic fruit lifestyle. No matter where I traveled, no matter where I went, and even the sun, which I was taught by. Do you know Don Bennett? Don Bennett. I connected with him, and he was explaining to me how UV light sanitizes your skin, but still, sometimes you need to look for other tools. And just the thing is, be open to tools. Some people are very close-minded, and even I was about.
We had so many arguments.
If it's not rambutan or lychees, it's not going in my body.
But
That was the way I was walking.
Also, just to challenge you on that, like the common person will be like, yeah, of course you're deficient, you should eat meat, for example.
Correct.
So if you want to be really open and try things, then what makes that you're not listening to some people who would say that?
I would say it's for me personally, from my experience, like having a dog around me or like stroking a horse or a cow, it's never been my intention to look at animals' food. They're my friends. So for me, that wouldn't even be an option. And again, when it comes back to cooking, it's very, very difficult to create a fire, and it's not easy to get tools to make food. So for me, it's not even natural. Even when it comes down to fruit, I'm more inclined to eat a dragon than pineapple because I don't even know how to get into a pineapple. I'm more thinking about pick, peel, and eat. That's the clue, and it should taste really good. So I would say when it comes to experimenting things, just do your research. As long as it's coming from a forest or the plant kingdom, it could have, like, for example, I'm sure the whole world has tea. Tea's made from leaves, it's not necessarily food, but we still consume it. So in that way, I'd be open, explore what the plants can offer you. What can the forest give you? Whether it's the root, the leaves, the bark, whatever it is. Like chaga, interesting. Chaga, which Laetitia has gracefully forced me to drink. I don't know, have you tasted it?
Yeah, actually,
tell me
when
like
I was
that.
in Norway, we got some from the forest and infused it in the tea. Yeah, 'cause
But
it grows there
did you add honey or anything to it?
with honey. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. He wanted to drink it plain. I never told him to drink it plain.
No. It was difficult, but then again, that's what I mean, being open to try something. Because when I researched it, it said it's a tree fungus, and I was like, I don't
But
know.
fungus treats fungus. That's the thing.
So yeah, so we're learning new things every day. So I would say, know what our origins is, put that as a main part of your lifestyle, but be open to experimentation. And if you're faced with an 8-year skin condition, is not what most people on this path have experienced as detoxification. Even John Rose said on one of his videos, the most I experienced was like a flu that lasted 1 or 2 days during my solid food vacation. I suffered horrendously, like a lot. Gut issues, mental health issues, just the bowel movements, everything that was coming out, I just knew was constant detox reactions. It just turns out what the skin condition that lasted 8 years was, I mistakenly thought it as part of that package of detoxification symptoms. But then I would advise anyone out there, if you're suffering with something that's lasted you more than, how long should we say? How long
I
should
think
it?
more than 3 months, you should definitely.
More than 3 months, red flag.
Yeah.
Get yourself checked. Really, go in fast. Don't be like me. Don't wait. Because I had the mentality of be like patience. The body needs time. But then I thought, if it takes 6 months to heal a broken bone, why should it take me 8 years to deal with? And I'm talking no sleep at night. I wasn't able to work. My social life went down. Even my social media page, I stopped contributing to because people associated it with, number one, people said you got it from the forest. That people said that on my YouTube videos. And then secondly, my whole family assumed that it was my diet. Whether it's deficient, I don't know what excuse they come up with. they try to link it up.
I mean, let's go into relationships then, either romantically or with family. Like, how does it work for you guys being on this path with your families to start with?
Do you want to start?
I mean, like, my family thinks I have an eating disorder,
I've
kind
been
of.
told that too, actually. I've been told that too.
I mean, they just cannot understand the raw lifestyle because they never even tried one day completely raw.
Yeah, it blows my mind. 10 years on this lifestyle, my family have not even done one day. Just an experiment, you know? They're always trying to convince me to eat what they eat, but I explained that rice is technically a grain which birds eat. So just because you have it now and it's your culture and tradition and habit, doesn't mean you're right. It's just what the status quo is. What I'm doing is what our ancestors did. So you might want to tap into that, but I don't know.
But I have to
Difficult to speak.
I have to understand, to say, like, my family really, like especially my mom and my sister, they supported me because they knew I struggled a lot with my health, and even my mom supported me during a water fast, and like, yeah,
You're lucky.
She's like open, yeah.
My family I don't know, it's like fear. If they see you don't eat even just one meal, I don't know where the fear comes from. It's like, you have to eat. You will die if you don't eat. So I don't know, it's difficult. It's difficult to see fruit as a meal. It's difficult for them to even juice for a meal. And it's very difficult for them to even fast for a day. So what this lifestyle does to you is shift your consciousness and energy and your perception that there is some sensitivity that builds, and I get sensitive to my environment and the people around me. So there's a natural distance that's created, I can't, and because like even us here in Bali right now, there's not many people who are raw vegan on this lifestyle.
And also there are so many differences. I mean, we had so many arguments also like about the lifestyle.
So
it creates probably as well, like with others.
For some reason, like it's like food politics. It just, for some reason, like you vibe with the people that eat like you. You mentioned before, like-minded people hang around, and the quote is, "Birds of the same feather flock together." Like all the parrots fly with the parrots, the pigeons and the pigeons. Even for us, on a micro level in our community, like what sort of lifestyle are you doing? And so, for example, even though durian's a good fruit for you, eating too much of it will dehydrate you, and it's a higher fat content. It's not necessarily healthy. If you meet someone that's constantly focused on that, you might not vibe with them so well, and you might not spend so much time because it's distracting you from what you want to do. Your diet might be celery juice, a balanced diet with fresh fruits and leafy greens, but that person wants to go and look for durian in the forest. There's a break-off point. I told Laetitia, there's a clear example. If you look at two lines and they're 1 degree apart, and you move down, like, let's say 100 meters, they're very different points. So on your journey, just small differences between people can end you up in different places. That's why we're all here now. Not many people are here. We are, but that's because what our intentions internally and what we wanted brought us here. But even to this day, I have a better relationship with my family at a distance than I do living with them. And even us being together for 4 months, there has been conflict. You want to do A, I want to do B. And you're focused on A, I'm focused on B. But if you keep focusing on A, you're not going to get B.
You want to put garlic in the raw soup?
Yeah, she wants to put garlic in her raw soup.
Not only one glove.
Or maybe for dinner, I want like really high quality jackfruit. But she's like, no, let's make a salad.
But I think also, like, when it comes back to the point of when you're also like struggling with something, and my approach is always, if you don't try anything new, you won't have new results.
Einstein said that, right? If you keep repeating the same thing over, it's insanity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you need to change the approach when you really suffer with something, when you're bloated, when you have any symptoms, and you've done medical medium maybe for 5 years. There's a point where you really have to realize this is not working for me right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's painful sometimes to really like admit, it's not working what I'm doing right now, because we're often like very into like the bubble of, that's the right thing what I'm doing, and I want to be right about it, and I want to be right. I'm also like I'm closed-minded with also my theories, and you're closed-minded with your theories.
But when you put two closed-minded people, we have to give in, and some things I let her take control of, and then other things I'm like, can we pay a bit of attention to the rambutan? She might have one or two.
Yeah.
But again, I go back to Tony's point, where we're post-symbiotic refugees. Even Tony said, when you come to a raw vegan lifestyle, go slow. We don't have the gut flora that we used to have to deal with a high fruitarian diet. and we don't even have access to the high quality fruits that we did in the past, and nor is it for free. You know, for
Yeah, but-
example, sometimes you open a fruit, it's got worms in it. What do you do? Huh?
But I mean, like, you have to train your gut to like digest it again. Like, it took me also like a long time until I could digest raw food. I really like when I started with medical medium, all that stuff. I had like such a weak digestive system that I could not digest raw food in the evening because I had stomach issues the whole night. So I had to have like steamed stuff in the evening, and I worked myself slowly up to being fully raw because my digestive system was too low, like
How long did it take you? How many years would you say?
to at least like 2 years I could really like digest raw food.
That's the thing. Like you mentioned, Alex, when people come on this lifestyle and they expect results in 1 year and I don't feel good or it's not working for me, give it time. You know?
Yeah, but there are also examples of people who have done it for long times. Like, for example, here living in Ubud, I know a lot of actually in my field has been coming more women recently, and maybe there's a difference from men and women, but there's a whole movement in the conscious community in Ubud about like if you're a woman, especially around your menstruation time, or if you want to give birth, or like I've seen many people, but women especially in our community here, sometimes been like 5 years vegan or 10 years vegetarian, 15 years vegetarian, be like, you know what, I started again to eat fish or to eat chicken twice a month.
Yeah, but I think there it comes again with the seaweed. Are you having enough iodine in your diet that you don't need to like eat fish? Because iodine is not really much in a lot of fruit, only like in pears. Not, you know, you need like, yeah, some other minerals.
So it's like if you eat this way, you need to be so knowledgeable because there are things you might be missing and you need to like really adapt.
No way. I'm not sure. I'm sure about Norway and Germany and London. No way can you walk into a supermarket and depend on that. That's not enough. Don Bennett recommended, for example, barley grass juice powder. That's something I incorporated because I was aware. I was like, yeah, the celery's white. It's not green anymore. It's like, you know, you can't assume you're getting enough. And until, like, if I could just mention, one of the best things I've recently had that I never used to consume was, yes, the celery juice, but also cucumber juice. And Laetitia introduced me to Medical Medium's raw spinach soup. And that is full of so much greens and natural sodium that even for me, I don't even need a salt shaker. I don't even crave salt because it's those recipes like that which you don't find in a forest.
You like the spinach soup? I mean, you've done the 369.
Yeah, that was I like it. It's nice.
But you don't find that in a forest, and it doesn't come from a tree. It's something that us modern humans have to, you know, that's the thing. We have to start using technology to support us. It's not enough just to rely on the fruit supply. You need support. So I am open to, and even Laetitia introduced me to like dulse, Atlantic dulse. You know, there's interesting things out there we can incorporate. So it's not just about being whole ripe organic. Doug Graham has his rules about it should be a whole fresh ripe or organic. Dulse is not necessarily ripe raw fresh whole organic, but it's a useful supplement, you know.
It gives us the iodine and it's like super tasty over salad.
It's interesting, for example, Lou, he was saying he's not really doing the seaweeds and medical medium like really likes the spirulina, for example. So there's always like these
Yeah, the
little
small
things.
complex. I think in the raw community everyone's 80% on the page, and then there's a 20% break off where we have our differences, and then within that 20% there's like 5% differences. Some are very strict, and it just, you know, no one is right. We're all figuring it out, and we're all learning what we personally like. Everyone has their preferences. I'll give you a clear example, and I found this out. You can have 2 dogs. One of them might eat something the other one doesn't, but they're the same species. They should be eating the same diet, but he likes to eat that one more than that. And I did a simple experiment. I did some fruit experiments with the dogs. Some of them ate some fruits that the other didn't, and I was like, well, that's just like us. It doesn't mean one is good or one is bad. It's just we all have different preferences. So in our mind, we might think something's right, something's wrong. Maybe nothing's right and wrong. Maybe we just have our different preferences within
And
that.
in the end, also eating what you love is probably healthy.
Exactly, because I think also like it comes to deficiency if you crave something.
Correct.
So-
This is a perfect example. If you haven't had a mango for a month and you have your first mango, wow. Nutrition comes from the fact that your body will naturally tell your instinct for eating, your body will tell you if you've had enough of a fruit or not. So you will naturally enjoy a mango if you haven't had it for so long because the nutrition profile is unique in that mango. And the lifestyle is going to work for you if you are having variety. Tony Wright made this point. We were probably in symbiosis with 200 different trees in the tropical rainforest. your diet should resemble that. You're not gonna live off one tree every day consistently. So you will actually find more success, more enjoyment, more enlightenment having variety of exotic fruits and a nutritional profile of minerals coming into your diet than repeatedly having the same things. To keep things interesting, it's nice to change around.
But I think also mono eating is great for some things. Like when you suffer from digestive issues, I think it's great to really like focus on mono meal foods. And what I think it's actually super interesting that your body is naturally telling you when you should stop when you eat.
I would say that would work, for example, in Europe in summer. As an example, right now, if strawberries and cherries are in season in Germany and London, it's organic, it's ripe, it's high quality, it's fresh. That's a good window to do things like that.
But for me, it's super interesting that when you eat it, it changes the taste when you had enough.
Correct.
That's crazy. That's only if you eat mono.
That is very difficult to do if it's a raw pizza.
Yeah, come on.
Which is why I have red flags with these meals, because it's not mono eating, you don't know when you're satisfied, and you're getting in salt and nuts, and your body shouldn't be consuming that. So it really, for me, does go back to eat as you would have naturally in nature, which would be to pick fruit fresh from a tree. Even if it's a peach in Italy or Greece or wherever it is, that ripe peach is better than any raw, gourmet, heavy, nutty, fatty meal that's salty.
But I think we need like these salty alternatives, like in terms of like with a lot of herbs or like dulse and seaweed, to really make this lifestyle sustainable. Because when people like try to transition, they always do raw until 4, and then they like eat something that is cooked or something.
I think Alex would agree as well. Alex, how many years have you been raw?
4 years.
4 years.
And I'm not fully raw, like,
Okay.
let's say 90%.
Yeah, I would say the deeper you go and the longer you've been, the more, because for me now it's hard to look back. 10 years in, for me it's effortless. Like right now, I've only had coconut. I don't even crave anything. It's effortless for me to do that because that's where I'm at. But I sometimes forget people who are just coming fresh into this, they're in a different position. And I need to have more sympathy and remember how I felt in that first year. And yeah, you have cravings. Come on, you're coming up from like overstimulation from fast food, processed foods. You can't just get people to jump in and just either water fast, live on juice, or tell them have a bowl of cherries and that's what you're having. Because they have cravings, you know, they have attachments. You
Mainly raw 4 years ago.
Oh wow.
100%.
Okay. And how do you feel now as you've moved towards being raw? Is that a positive change for you?
Yeah, I feel really good in my energy and my mood. In terms of strength, it's kind of stable. Like it's good for endurance, but like pure strength at the gym, it's like so.
Yes.
Yeah, overall, I'm very happy with it. As I told you, I still have like some tension in the neck. I would have hoped with such a clean diet, like my body just heals itself faster.
Correct.
So yeah, overall pretty good.
Do you sleep
Still
with AC on?
for improvement now.
Okay. Sometimes it could be, for example, cold wind at the night has caused me.
No, I don't put it that much. I put it now for the interview because it gets sweaty and fluid.
Yeah.
I'm also interested as we're wrapping up the conversation today. What's we're here on the Light Leaders and we want to eat clean, but also to create for the world, to have an impact. And what's driving you right now? What are you creating, guys?
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, so we tried to first the focus was the last one to heal Ali's skin, that he's getting better because like he said,
I was not in a good mental state. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't functional during the day. So right now, whoever's watching this, I'm coming out of 8 years deep suffering. Born, in a way, it's like a renaissance. I'm still processing what it's like to live like a human. And people might not get this, but I can literally feel like a child who can live now. And all I want to do is play. I'm always, every day, I say to Laetitia, I'm going to Kuta Beach, I want to surf. I just want to be in the sun. Because I want to enjoy having my skin back. Because I've had so many years of deprivation. But my consciousness, my intention, when I spoke with Laetitia, we spoke of creating an account, Golden Age. And it's about inspiring a new golden age. We had a golden age in the ancient forest, and
as we alluded to before, the golden age is a state of consciousness. And to bring that back, you know, we need to wake people up to consuming exotic fruits and high quality fruits. So a point I want to make the time is that Tony Wright made the connection between neurochemistry, which comes from the gift bed from the plant, the exotic fruit, which is a swollen reproductive organ of the plant. That is where all the chemistry is coming from, that engaged with that our brain was flooded in for many millions of years, that gave birth to our consciousness. So the birth of human consciousness comes from the ancient forest. So we wanted to create a page which inspires people to not just be raw, but creatively, however they can, you know, consume exotic fruits, because not everybody wants to just cut open a dragon and eat it, or they can or can't. Make it accessible in some way, and just raise that awareness to it. Because if, as we mentioned before, if you're not focused on it, you're not going to attract it. And I wish all humans around the world put more energy into that, less into processed foods and cooking, and we can have a new world where everyone can have access to more high quality exotic.
Yeah, and we both also love to coach people live. So yeah, I just and he wanted to do it in Brazil as well when he was there, and it was also always my dream to like really coach people, because I think they get so much out of it when you really like show them the lifestyle and when you really support them, because it's all about support. Like when I was on my journey, I wish I had someone like guiding me a bit, and I would like move so much quicker, because it's not only about eating the right things, it's about like, do you have someone who's like supporting you, like who's really has your back, and who's like, I think support can heal so much. If you have one person who's really there for you, wow.
I think people need that too, because not everyone has the discipline or the resources. It's easy to come here and be taken care of and just be.
They need to get out of their environment. Like,
As we mentioned before, environment. It's easy to tell someone to do something, but when they're in a city that's cold and stressful, and it's not. But if they come here and you're hosting them and taking care of them, you can show them, live the experience for 2 weeks, give them a taste of it, and show them.
And then they will feel it in their body, and then they're like, wow, oh my god.
2 weeks on a juice cleanser or medical medium program, and get like the bowels moving, get the hydration in, get them to see the sunset and like smell and feel the forest, the aura. I don't know the exact science of it, but I know Bali's on a geographically strategic point for spiritual people. So I don't know what it is, but they call it the island of the gods. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a special thing about Bali. It's not like any tropical.
Can we reach out to you? I'll put the Instagram in the description.
Yes, I am right now. I'm Flavors of Light.
And Roger Siffin.
Yeah. If you want to have that experience, definitely check it out. One last thing, Laetitia, I remember you talked at some point about like maybe a fasting center in the Canary Islands.
Yeah.
And actually I'm interested because we had that discussion a little bit about Bali. So many things I love about Bali. And yeah, sometimes when I'm discussing with also with my partner, our families are in Europe, and Bali's a little bit further. There are things where, like in Bali, there are things where it's harder to own property, it's harder to do business,
Exactly.
you require certain visas. Is that feeling of always being a foreigner, where thinking like if we really wanted to settle, is that the place? Do we want to be somewhere in Europe, Madeira, Portugal? Canaries actually came into my mind, the surfing there too.
Right.
I wanted to do it on the Canary Islands because it's so special about the island that it's hot in like winter. So basically in December, November, you get like the sun there, and the sun is so important for healing. For like, you just need to be in the sun.
Yeah, you don't just drink and eat. Like you need to eat it and be in it.
So now, how do you feel between like Bali or doing something in the Canary Islands or maybe somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, like Bali would be also like a great place because I think it will also like attract people very easily. But I'm also like very conscious about people who are really sick. They cannot do like a long time.
Yeah. Also, many people I speak to in the past when I had clients, many told me finance is a big struggle for them, and I know from my friends who have been to Hawaii, they said it's not cheap to go. So Bali's like the affordable Hawaii for the world. So I think this has many pros, and I actually believe if hydration is what humans need, because we all suffer, Lauren Luckman has highlighted, who's suffering from chronic dehydration. I know his approach is water fasting, but for me in the real world, for what people are really willing to do, I think coconut water is quintessential for a human being, especially now. If you're coming off cooked food, your body is desperate for fresh coconut water. You know, this is how many palm trees are around it? It's a haven. It's a haven for hydration. It's paradise water. Like, there's books about it. Coconut water is actually, I think, the #1 symbiotic tree with a human. So if you want to be around these trees, and Bali's paradise.
Yeah, those stories about being able to do like a blood.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
the closest thing to your blood plasma. So you can do IV with coconut water. So I think it's a good place to have for detoxification and healing. You need hydration.
We'll see what the future holds. But
Yeah.
it's at the moment very nice to be here. I just came back a week ago after 3 months in Europe. I'm so grateful to visit this place for many reasons.
Yeah.
Other ones being it's a beautiful feel that the locals hold here and the expat community. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Thank you everyone for watching.